Welcome back to Roughneck RC. Today we are doing an engine swap. And here is the carburetor to the new engine that is going to be going into the DBXL to replace that small little tiny motor. This is what I've got to put into the DBXL. This is an O'Neill Brothers Racing 8.2 horsepower full mod 30.5 cc 4-bolt reed case engine. Product number 1855. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages. Welcome to my nightmare.
So, we need to get started. We need to take this out. So, how do we do that? Well, let's disconnect the gas line, if we can. I'm gonna make this gas probably go back inside there somehow. Now this air line is down here. We gotta get this out of the way. Jesus, everything's super big. Perfect. Nothing like some gasoline to wake up in the morning. Woohoo! It's a shitty carburetor I told you guys about. Back to that later. Gasket.
As you can see, it's a relatively pain in the ass. You got one bolt here, another bolt on the other side under here, which is a pain in the butt to get to. And you got 4 in the front, just to get the motor out. So what fun. But we're going to keep filming, because that is what we do.
No, not sure it didn't have drive shafts. Everything else in the way when they put this thing in. But such it is. I'm gonna get one click on this at a time, so this is gonna take a while. Very long time. Probably. Probably an easier way. Holy cow. Well, we'll come back when I have this bolt out.
Well, for you that was just a few minutes. For me, that was like 15 minutes of unbolting just that second one that I couldn't get to because everything was in the way. But now we got 4 in the front. Not exactly sure how to get to. I think I have to remove the fuel tank. Which, it's not my idea of fun. Let's see. First of all, it's not in the right size. But let's see if I can remove the fuel tank. Thank God the fuel tank's easy. I got a little container down there. I'm putting all these in. There's 2 bolts holding the fuel tank down that I can see of. Or screws. maybe more. Alright. We're going back to first person's perspective. Well, this cover right here covers your spare gear, and I believe pinions under here. Needs to come off. And it's a real pain in the butt. You have to move shit out of the way to get to it. And we'll come back when I get this cover off. There's two, three, four bolts in weird hard places to get to, and I can't give you a first person's view because that camera battery went dead. So we'll come back when I get the cover off. Well, we had to undo the throttle linkages and get those out. And now those 4 bolts are a pain in the butt. In fact, this whole cover is a pain in the butt. Well, we got the bolts out. Very time consuming. What a pain in the tuchus. But and I still have one more to take. Engine mount. I wonder if they make that out of metal, or if they will.
There's one.
All this. Let me change the motor out. I started this about 1:30 in the afternoon. It is now almost 4. So I've been working on this. For a little while now. So from 1:30 to 4 so far, just to get this motor out. And then I gotta put it back in, which is just the reverse process, but still learning very much a learning process. And like I said, I'm not gonna throw this motor out. It's a perfectly good motor. I'm probably just gonna hang on to it. You never know. You might, do something new and exciting that you can put it in. You know, I'm sure this will go great in a 2-wheel drive vehicle, not a 4-wheel drive like this. What I'm doing now is removing the cage around the motor. What little remains to do of that. There's a whole lot of bolts here. And that's another problem for another day. probably gonna box this up in the same box that other motor came in. Wrap it up nice. Put it away in case I have a future project. Now, if you're one of the few people that, well, I have this rule of keeping all my RCs together and having them all running, but I could have pulled the motor out of another car and stuck it in here. But if you're gonna do it, you're gonna go big, you might as well go big, bad, and do it right. So that's why I spent $800 on the upgrade. Here's the cage. There's the motor completely removed. Now we begin the process of reassembling. So you're going to need a bottle of Loctite to put on your bolt threads when you put them back in, so everything gets locked in nice and tight. I'm going to put the work on putting the motor back together. Well, the new motor with the cage around it and everything. And then when we come back, we'll be putting it back into the truck. It's pretty much the reverse process of what you just witnessed. So we'll try to speed this video up a little bit and let you see what's going on, but not go in so much depth detail. So to start with, put these spacers back in to here. If you can. I'm dropping shit again. But I've decided to forego putting the cage on. One, it doesn't exactly line up to this motor. And two, later on I plan on putting a supercharger. Yes, they make a supercharger on this to even give me more power. But for now, we're not doing that. So we have the bolt. Let me take the Loctite. You just put some on the threads. You can put some in the hole if you want. Just slide this in. Find the spot. You get it started. Always start all of them in. First. That way, you repeat the process. I go with the corners to anchor it. and so forth. And you tighten them. And help you God, you put the right bolts in the right spots. And you could put the cage on. No. You could probably figure a way of putting the gauge on. But then you have to take it back off every time you have to do some maintenance to the motor. And with me planning on getting some more upgrades besides this motor. First I want to see how this motor performs. And then we'll go from there if we're going to add more horsepower. And if we decide to add more horsepower, there's upgrades for that. Basically anything you could do to a full-size car, these gassers, you could do to these. There's aftermarket places to get stuff. You just gotta look for it. I just dropping tools and stuff left and right over here. You might, if you've already ran the original motor in it, you might want to take the opportunity while the motor's out to dust off the base of this. You know, get the weeds out. See, right now is the best time for me to do this. We're in January. The weather is horrible outside now, and springtime is when I'm really gonna be running it a lot more. So a few good days here and there, if I don't have this thing ready, I ain't gonna lose sleep over it. But if I'm not ready by spring, I'm not gonna be happy, because springtime is RC weather, and I don't really like the cold, so going out in the cold isn't going to happen that often. So for me, this is the perfect time to find out that I had to do this upgrade. It's not nice, so being inside doesn't bother me. Ta-da! Now we're going to get the back plate in. Needs to think. Not sure if we need it. Yeah, we probably need it. I'm not sure what bolts came out of there. Well, that didn't. in. Well, I gotta find out find the bolts, and then we'll put that in. So here's the rear mount. Now you can either drill holes in your base and use the mounting screws there, which I don't really want to drill holes in my base, or you can cut this piece of plastic down because it has to be machined down because this part here is thicker than the original motor, so that you can use this. I'd rather cut the plastic down and I can reorder another plastic one if I needed to, than to drill holes in the base. So I'm going to go out to the shop and I'm going to do some quick sanding and cutting on this rear mount so it can work with this motor and bolt it to the bod and bolt it to the chassis. I've been up since 3:30 in the morning. I had to work today, so if I get a little bit weird about how I'm talking, it's because I'm a little bit tired. But I want to get this in because then tomorrow I gotta let it break in, and then hopefully the next good day will be some great footage. So I sanded it, I cut it. Hopefully this works. Otherwise I do have to drill the chassis. Still working on it, but the motor's bolted down. Had to do some modifications to the motor mount to get it in, but she's stable. So still lots of work to do, get it back together, but we're getting there. Nice, huh? So it's putting the carburetor time on. Figured I better get the carburetor on before I went too much further with the other parts. So we have a gasket. Now I need this piece. So this is how this goes. This, that gasket, slide to the body of the carb, the other gasket, and once again looking for tools. I have it somewhere around here, the quicker one, but let's get this started. I'll see if I can find it. I think it went flying somewhere. That's the bolt that snapped. Well, I don't know where it went, so we'll have to do this the old-fashioned way. Actually, use this one. Tighten a little bit at a time so you get equal pressure on each side. I did put Loctite on the threads, so ta-da. Now the linkage here is not long enough, so we have to adjust that. Once again, when you're modifying anything, I mean, this is an aftermarket motor. It's badass, but sometimes when you're doing that, you run into little things. Like this linkage not being long enough. But there's a solution for that. I can reposition this to grab it. Once I find a screwdriver. Loosen it. Connect the rod. Retighten it. Full throttle. Take some figuring. I'm gonna reconnect this, and then start putting the gas tank and stuff back on, and then when we come back, hopefully this will be all done. So my friends, it is the next day. Doing the motor swap out took me, well, probably about 9.5, 10 hours with custom made stuff, things that you didn't see on the camera or in this video. And I had to do a lot of editing just to get this video down to the time I did. But as you can see, it is in. There's a few things that I have to point out. First of all, adjusting the linkage before, like I said, that I did last night didn't work. I still wasn't able to make the reach, so I had to custom make a linkage rod. That is a completely custom linkage rod that I had to actually make. Like I said, you know, when you're doing modifications and stuff, you're gonna run into things. Just plain and simple. You can't avoid it. There's always stuff that doesn't quite fit right. But there's another thing that I ran into a problem with. Is, well, first of all, I'm reusing this old air filter for the moment. I am planning on either doing supercharger or ram air kit or something, probably in the spring. You know, and this exhaust, I used the old exhaust off of it, but that's going to change, and I'm going to get a pipe for it, a tuner pipe. I'm just not too sure what one I want as of yet. You know, within the past probably month, I have $2,000 sitting here. That's how much I've spent. You know, between the shipping and handling and getting the car and just crazy amount of money very quickly. That happens. I was very unhappy with the car the way it sat and very disappointed, so I had to do something about it to save face. You know, if I get an RC that I don't like, I have to automatically modify it to try to make it so I do like it. And 9 times out of 10, I fixed the problem and everything's good and I love the RC. You know, But there's a few times that hasn't been an instance, so I'm really hoping this kicks it up a notch and gives me the kind of power and performance that I expect out of this truck, because it's a very costly learning experience. You know. But back to the problem here. This is an extended body, and this extends out. This carburetor air, they're all sits a lot further out. If you look down here, it sticks way past the chassis out. It's basically coming out the side of the car. Now, here's the problem. I have a solution. I haven't done it yet. This body, you know, there's just no, you know, you have to, I mean, take a look. I mean, it's got to sit past it that much. So you have to force this around, and then it's going to be pushing here. So, and I know it's horrible, but here's my solution. I have to cut from here all the way down to here, right through this beautifully lossy sticker, all the way back up to here, to be able to accommodate the fact that that just doesn't fit. Now I have not broken into this motor yet. I have not even started this motor yet. It was very late last night when I finished, and very cold, so I haven't gone out and got this running yet. But I will be, and then once it's all broken in, I'll be bringing you some new running footage of the DBXL with its new improved powerhouse of a system. But until then, my friends, you all have a wonderful, wonderful day, and have many, many, many RC adventures. And I'll see you next time on Roughneck RC.